Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third installment in our private pilot ground school course online. My name is Micah Small, and I'll be your CFI. This lesson is going to be a pretty short one. There's not very many slides to go through on this, as we just talk about the basics of the pre-flight assessment. So basically, we just want to teach you that a thorough check of the airplane ensures airworthiness and safety before you fly. And then the accomplishment of a safe flight begins with a careful pre-flight inspection. It determines the airplane is legally airworthy and also in a condition safe for flight, because if we go up, we all want to land safely, correct? Okay. So the big picture of this pre-flight is what we're looking at. We're going to look at the pre-flight assessment, detecting problems, talking about ice and frost, loading and securing, and then determining the airplane is safe, okay? So first, we're going to check out this PAVE checklist. Everything in the FAA is acronyms, so the big picture pre-flight starts with the PAVE checklist, okay? So that starts with the pilot and then moves on to the aircraft and then to the environment, and then we talk about external pressures. So the pilot starts with I'm safe, which is illness, medications, stress, alcohol, fatigue, and emotional external pressures. Aircraft, we have to talk about the required documents, inspections, pre-flight checklist, equipment and systems operation, proper loading, performance and capabilities. And then the environment, we're looking at weather, terrain, whether it's night or day, our departure, our route, our destination, our alternates, any safety concerns or security concerns. And then finally, the external pressures is the E, and that's based on that particular flight. Now, we do all understand that environment doesn't start with an E, so the FAA decided they'd use the V in environment for the PAVE checklist to help us remember. And personally, I think it's just obscure enough that it helps me remember. So the pre-flight checklist, everything in aviation is checklists. We're going to use our checklists, okay? It just ensures the airplane meets airworthiness standards and is safe for flight. Logically, it moves around the airplane to ensure it is in a safe condition for flight. And we do it in a specific order, and one airplane might be different than the other, but we will use the checklist and go through everything on that. So the pre-flight checklist is going to be found in Chapter 4 of the Pilot's Operating Handbook, and always have the proper checklist with you as a reference. As your career grows and you progress in aviation, you're going to know how to do your walk around and your pre-flight check without having to have the checklist in your hands. But to start, we'll start out with it more as of like a do list, and you go through every single item every time. And then as you begin to build your flow, you can just do your normal walk around and then pick up the checklist after and then verify that you hit all the key points, okay? So what to expect then, we have to look into the interior, and we're going to look for the airworthiness required documents, the logbooks. We don't always have to have the logbooks in the aircraft, but we do want to make sure that the ADs and all the things that are supposed to be complied with and inspections are complied with. So, and then we're going to look at the pre-flight checklist items, and then we'll walk around the exterior of the aircraft. So we're basically just looking for visible structural damage, dents, cracks, bending, separating, leaks, stains, missing rivets, bolts, anything like that that's out of the ordinary. Your first few times walking around the airplane, you're probably not going to notice a lot because you're new. But as you start building some time in your aircraft or the aircraft that you're using, you are going to start to notice little things if something is different from the last time you flew it, okay? The other thing we want to look at is the flight controls. Make sure everything is free and correct. It's not hanging up anywhere. Everything is properly attached on the inside and outside of the aircraft. And then we'll move on to the fuel quality and quantity and contamination. So we're going to confirm that the quantity is indicated on the gauges, but in general aviation, we don't always trust those gauges either. So a lot of times, especially in older aircraft with analog gauges, we'll dip the tanks. Okay, and then the other big thing we do is drain the fuel some. So we want to make sure water and contaminants are out of the fuel, but that also lets us check and test the fuel to make sure that it doesn't have water or anything in there. Okay, it also gives us a look at the fuel so we can verify that the proper type and grade of fuel is in the aircraft we're going to fly. And again, these are all safety concerns, okay? Then we're going to look at the oil quantity and contamination again. So we're going to look at the proper amount of oil in it, and we're going to look for discoloration or metal flakes or anything like that that could indicate to us there could be something wrong with the aircraft. Okay. In the pre-flight assessment, still, we're looking at ice and frost as well. Small amounts of ice or frost can really severely disrupt the airflow over the wing. So it is not legal, again, it is not legal to take off with any amount of frost or ice on your wings. Okay, it does increase the stall speed and it reduces lift. So you can lose that lift at a lot higher airspeed if the airflow is disrupted due to ice and frost. So again, do not fly unless ice and frost is removed in accordance with the POH. But as far as the FAA is concerned, they do not allow you to take off with frost on your wings. Okay, so loading and securing. Ensure all items are properly loaded and secured prior to flight. Verify the loading complies with all center of gravity requirements and restrictions, and make sure that your aircraft is within the envelope for the weight, balance, and center of gravity. And then determining the aircraft is safe, the airplane is safe. Just during the pre-flight assessment, note all the issues to make an educated go or no-go decision. If you are new or you're not sure, ask for advice. You can always ask other pilots. You can ask the mechanic. You can ask a CFI, just anyone that has more experience than you. It's okay to have a discussion with them to make sure that you're making the smartest, safest decision. Okay. Also, follow any recommendations in the pilot operating handbook, as well as those learned from your experience and, again, others' experience. Don't be swayed by emotion, outside pressures, or undue influence from anyone or anything. And then remember, the PIC, or pilot in command, is the final authority in the operation of that aircraft. So as you progress in your aviation career, whether it be for fun or for hobby, you do and will become the pilot in command. And then it is up to you to make that go or no-go decision. And it's all about how you manage resources, whether or not you talk to somebody else to make an educated decision or if you decide on your own. But number one at the end of the day is safety and coming home. So always, always, always use common sense and your best judgment. And if you're unsure, ask a question from someone that has more experience. They will not steer you in the wrong direction. All right, that is the end of this one. It was just a quick 7 or 8 minute lesson here. If you have any questions, again, throw them down in the comments or follow up with us on our website. And if I'm your in-person flight instructor as well, you can ask me the next time you see me. Otherwise, we are glad you joined us on this quick flight today. And until next time, stay safe.